An OnlyFans creator by the name Lily Phillips decided to sleep with 100 men in a single day.
What the fuck?
Let's take a moment to reflect on what this headline represents. Sleeping with 100 people in a single day isn't just an attempt to grab attention. It's a glaring symptom of a society obsessed with spectacle and instant gratification. It's worth asking, is this empowerment or exploitation dressed as empowerment? Let's not confuse boundary breaking with self-destructive behavior.
She did so to create content for her OnlyFans, which I'm sure brought her hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
Here's a sobering fact. While top OnlyFans creators like Lily make headlines for their earnings, the average content creator on the platform makes only $151 per month. This lopsided reality highlights how the promise of fame and fortune lures women into commodifying their bodies, only to leave the majority struggling and exposed without the financial payoff.
And this should be the peak of modern-day feminist female empowerment, but she ended this day after sleeping with 100 guys in tears, for obvious reasons.
Women.
Here's the irony. The so-called empowerment left her in tears. What does that tell us about the emotional toll of reducing intimacy to a transaction? It's a potent reminder that seeking validation through extremes often leaves a void that money can't fill.
Now, you've probably heard the name Lily Phillips because she has made quite a name for herself as an OnlyFans creator. She's been traveling around the world, sleeping with what she calls barely legal men.
Barely legal raises ethical red flags. It's a deliberate flirtation with societal boundaries that normalizes predatory undertones. Let's not ignore the long-term consequences of treating intimacy like a commodity. These actions risk eroding healthy societal norms and trivializing deeply personal experiences.
She's filming this content for her OnlyFans channel, and apparently the threshold for people being interested in this content keeps going up and up and up because she is trying to set records for sleeping with numerous men in a single day. Her most recent record was sleeping with 101 men in one day. Many of these men were her OnlyFans followers who submitted applications and signed up to meet her at some random Airbnb in the UK where they would sleep with her.
The involvement of fans who submitted applications reveals a deeper issue: how parasocial relationships are being monetized. These men, detached from reality, aren't just paying for access. They're seeking connection through unhealthy channels. This cycle feeds loneliness and fosters exploitation on both sides.
They brought along friends and family members, and all of these men lined up to have a single moment with Lily Phillips. Now, on this monumentous day, a fellow creator by the name Josh Peters decided to show up and film a documentary of the process and its aftermath.
Documenting this spectacle doesn't just report the event, it normalizes and amplifies it. Media coverage often unwittingly legitimizes harmful behavior, creating a feedback loop where extremity is rewarded with attention, further incentivizing the next shocking act.
And what we expected from Lily Phillips was a woman full of joy that she had just accomplished, sleeping with 100 men in a single day. But the story really changed by the end of the encounters, and she was in tears.
When was the last time you ate?
I think I had a yum yum, and I think I had a sandwich, and that was and then the rest. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it,
It's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out, it feels intense.
More intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Now, it's interesting to juxtapose this clip with other clips of Lily leading up to the day. She seems excited about it, joyful. She's boasting about how she's going to sleep with this many men in a single day, and that really anybody can sign up so long as they are OnlyFans subscribers. Now, she states that she loves making this type of content. She loves the attention that she gets from the public, be it negative or positive, when she's making this sort of content. Now, I have a different theory. I think this is far more about money and male validation for her than it is about anything else. I think she's trying to secure secure the bag, but also be a woman who is sought after, even if it's only in a fleeting sexual sense. And we can see that in the aftermath of this 100 men in one day disaster that took place for her. And even still, after going through this, after crying, which I'm going to show you another clip of her analyzing her performance over the day and analyzing how she feels about it, she has now submitted herself for sleeping with 1,000 men in a single day.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
Now, how she's going to pull that off, I do not know, but that is her next plan. Now, let's watch another clip from her big day.
I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the, I think like the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal sex at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember. And that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know? But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
Not yet. God, I won't forget this day, Jesus.
In the first clip, she says that these activities are not for weak girls or weak women, which is really interesting. It insinuates that she finds strength in these activities, which is pretty strange. To be sleeping with 100 people, whether you're a man or a woman, is totally unhealthy. So to find strength in that action, which I'm not believing she truly is, if we can look at her demeanor by the end of this, but to think that you are is a really delusional thought to have, and I wonder where that comes from. On the other end, to think that women who are not performing these activities are weak is even stranger. So clearly she finds some form of validation in knowing that this is something that she can pull off, and where that is rooted, I have no idea. But in the second clip, she says that she is brought down by men saying they didn't get enough time with her or having a negative experience on the other end of this. So not only did she want 100 customers in a single day, with the product being her body and sexuality, but she wanted 100 satisfied customers at the end of the day. And even though 100% of these men are probably just happy to be there, and we'll talk about who these men are in just a moment, she lives with the negative performance reviews that she's gotten. The guys that said they didn't get enough time, and she states that that's what's making her cry, although I think it's coming from more than just that. In the way she talks about her body and the sexual engagement, and the fact that she finds it hard to have let these men down who felt like they didn't get a good performance or enough time, shows that she feels in some way that others are entitled to her body, entitled to her time, entitled to her intimacy, which is a really unhealthy mindset to live in, particularly as a woman. Now, a couple of other things she said that really stuck with me. She described the moments of dissociation that she had throughout the day.
Dissociation is a defense mechanism, often tied to trauma. Hearing Lily admit to this during her experience is a stark reminder that no amount of money can compensate for the mental health consequences of extreme actions. This isn't strength, it's survival in the face of harm.
And stated that if she really tried, she could only remember about 5 or 6 guys that she was intimate with. This points to a very clear case of dissociation, which she acknowledges. But by the end of this clip, she says this is a day she won't forget. Now, how powerful and impactful is it that it's a day that you will never forget, meaning she won't forget that she's experienced this, but she's also dissociated to the extent that no matter how hard she tries, she wouldn't be able to remember the people that she's engaged with. So you are literally inflicting trauma upon yourself, and now you're living with the mental torture of a day that you cannot forget, but also people that you cannot remember. So you are just endlessly stabbing your brain, essentially, for the rest of your life. Now, a lot of people are seeing these clips. They're going massively viral, and there's a lot of different responses to this. Many are saying they don't feel bad for her in any way, shape, or form.
I'm here to tell you right now, We don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
He made her bed and laid in it both literally and figuratively, and now she has to deal with whatever lies on the other end of these decisions. And I can understand that viewpoint, but there is a part of me that does feel bad for her. I'm wondering what happened in her development that led her to make these choices, and I'm also looking at a sick society that funnels people down this path to start doing these things and to start creating pornography. And I have to wonder, who are the 100 men who decided to show up and do this with her? More important than a documentary of Lily Phillips, I think, or more interesting in my perspective, would be a documentary about the 101 guys, I guess, who decided to show up to this flat and engage with her sexually.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, in this documentary, they only show one or two guys. One is really jarred by this experience, so much so that he's shaking trying to drink a water bottle after sleeping with her, stating that if his father found out, he'd be kicked out of the house. Another said that he doesn't really think about his decisions before making them. He simply does it and maybe analyzes it after. But I would love to hear from the other 98, 99 individuals who were present that day, because we know how this impacts Lily. We know the trauma that she's now bestowed upon her body. We know the mental and physical taxation that she's decided to pay for, what, more money? And we know that it's not worth it. But I would love to hear from the men who showed up. And it's going to be something that really needs to be studied and analyzed, because this is not ending. There is an entire generation of young women that is being born and bred into this sort of sexual behavior. And with the proliferation of OnlyFans and the money that these women can make on the other end of these extreme actions, I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
The central theme here is the commodification of intimacy. While it's easy to blame individuals, the broader societal forces driving these choices deserve scrutiny. Platforms like OnlyFans profit from this imbalance, creating a system where exploitation is incentivized under the guise of empowerment. The solution lies in fostering real connections and self-worth that isn't tied to fleeting validation. Let's start by challenging the norms that celebrate these extremes.